Let's stay on this tragic incident that occurred in Kwara State, and I'm being joined on the news at 10 to discuss this by security expert Mr. Onah Ekhomu. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us on the news at 10. This is rather horrendous, an incident, if you will, and there has been talks about how this expertise was carried out by the bank robbers. Do you think that there has been anything close to this in the history of this country?
Thank you, Gimba, for having me. Well, we've seen some horrific incidents like this in the past. We saw something like this when Oceanic Bank, then Oceanic Bank, or the now moribund Oceanic Bank, was attacked in Asaba some years ago. But the scenarios, that is in terms of body count, because in that case we had 18 dead. But the scenario wasn't the same in terms of the method of attack, the modus operandi. That is the number of attackers, the kind of weaponry, the kind of threat they brought to the incident. In this case, they had machine guns, they had AK-47 rifles, and they had a lot of explosives. Now, this robbery is a very unique one because they carried it out in the way that we have seen before, but in another theater of the country, another part of the country, namely the Northeast, because this has become Boko Haram's calling call, where they go in, take out the police station or the army barracks, and then before they go in and attack the banks, and usually multiplicity of banks, like that happened in this case. In this case, they attacked 5 banks and robbed them. So what I'm worried now, I mean, I'm going beyond just bank robbery. Now, bank robbery is normally an economic crime. When robbers go to banks, they don't go shooting people in the head, like the medical doctor was saying in your report a few minutes ago. They don't create mass casualty situation like we have here, where you have over 30 dead and many injured. They don't do that. They kill some people just so that people will know that they are serious, but they go for the cash. Now, in this case, where somebody is killing people wantonly, I get worried because everybody, even when hired killers go into a house, they kill the person they want to kill. They now take some cash and make it look like a robbery. And that is what I think we are seeing here. We are saying this is, in fact, a classic terrorist act, but being made to look like a robbery. And I think the authorities should focus on that. Don't be deceived by the label robbery, because it's the citizens who are calling it robbery. It's people who are not sized in security that are saying it's a robbery. It's a terrorist attack.
So if I will just ask you this sort of question, what kind of protection should banks and indeed other high-risk businesses put in place at such times, and especially considering that attacks could be carried out just about any time?
Yes, thank you, Gimba. The banks did all they could. The banks have CCTV cameras that can only aid in post-event investigation. The banks had rotor doors, that's the bulletproof doors, man trap. Well, when somebody goes in there and puts explosive beside the man trap and detonates, the man trap comes down. And doesn't only come down, it causes physiological damage to the people inside the banking hall also. Well, the banks had, I don't know if they encountered guards, that's bank guards, that's armed police guards at the banks, but they would not have been able to withstand the number of people they had there, 30. Now, unless they do what is done here in Lagos, where the banks have some kind of a collaborative arrangement, where when a bank is being attacked in the vicinity, all the other police personnel in the area, they mass in on that place, then perhaps that would help. Then certainly also the security architecture in Lagos will have the QROG, the Quick Response Group, that's the Operation MESA. They are a call for service unit, and then with the 767 system where you can call in your distress, they are able to reach them and they can respond. Because what happened in this case, this was an invasion of our town. Actually, these bastards took over of our town, excuse my French, they took over of our town for the 2-3 hours they were operating. And what happened there should not be allowed to happen in any civilized place in this country, where people can just go and take over a town, kill people at will, and then walk away with a lot of cash to boot.
Mr. Onah Ekhomu, we want to thank you so much indeed for talking to us on the News at 10 security experts. We do appreciate your thoughts on this very troubling and disturbing situation we saw in Onah.